Molecules, atoms, quantum physics, the realm of the unknown, the realm of infinite possibility where nothing is set in stone and all futures lie ahead of us in parallel, waiting for us to choose a path. In the summer of 2025, Dylan and Dalton were faced with a choice. How would they follow up the dark universe? Which cinematic universe would they explore next? We know now which path we're on, the path of the pod universe. But what of the paths not taken? The universe is unexplored. Once a year, when the nights are long and the calendar is about to turn, these barriers between worlds grow porous, allowing us the briefest of glimpses. Prepare yourself, listener, for a journey beyond what you know to be true. You are now exiting the pod universe.
Michael. Dear Michael, of course it's you. Who else could they send? Who else could be trusted? And I know it's a long way. You're ready to go to work. All I'm saying is wait, just hear me out. Because this is not an episode. Relapse, fuck up. I'm begging you, Michael. I'm begging you. Just try and make believe this is not just madness. Because this is not just madness.
Fade in on a large basket of baguettes in the bakery section of a large chain grocery store. A man in a well-tailored suit with immaculately kept hair has stopped his cart in front of them. He stares at them vacantly, frowning. The man is played by Lee Pace, who we recognize as our franchise regular known only at this point as Wills and Trusts. He snapped out of his reverie by a sudden phone call. Yeah, go. Okay. The kid's still alive? That's good. Have the police been notified? Then we still have time. Tell him to stay put. He looks at his watch. About 2 hours out. No, Marty. This one's no big deal. It'll be gone by morning. I'll take care of it. Just tell him not to pick up the phone. Hard cut to Wills and Trusts in his car, crossing the Whitestone Bridge out of New York City. His grocery bags are in the back seat. A single baguette sticks out of one of them. He's distracted, lost in thought, so he doesn't notice the beat-up Prius on his tail. He zooms down a country road at twilight, still pursued, still frowning, eyes bleary. He passes a run-down roadside motel with a busted sign that's only just barely able to communicate its vacancy. We watch his car drive past it, not even slowing, but then it screeches to a stop 100 yards down the road. The car in pursuit comes up on it fast and manages to swerve out of the way and keeps on going past him. Cut to inside the car. Wills and Trusts is looking at a red book sitting on his passenger seat. A slip of paper sticks out from between the pages. He picks it up and reads the slip sadly. Then he puts it back, takes out his cell phone, and makes a call. Yeah, hey, it's me. Tell the client I'm not going to make it. Yeah, I know, Marty. Something came up. I'm not going to be there. I'm sorry. Marty, Look, I gotta go. Take care of yourself. He hangs up and tosses the phone in the passenger seat. He looks over his shoulder and reverses down the road, backing into the parking lot of the motel. Cut to him booking a room from the elderly front desk man. After he grabs his keys, he turns back to the man. Hey, you wouldn't happen to have a coil of rope I could buy from you, do you? The man narrows his eyes.
What for?
I'm picking up some lumber first thing in the morning. I'm going to need something to keep it held together, maybe even strap it to the top of the car.
Hardware store should take care of that for you.
Wills and Truss grins, a toothy, charismatic smile, instantly magnetic even to this old man. Well, a hardware store would, but I'm getting these from a scrapyard. Not sure how helpful they'll be. The man hesitates.
No rope, but I've got some twine.
He pulls a roll out from under the counter. Wills and Truss smiles again. That'll do. Thank you. He slaps a $50 bill on the counter.
Sorry for my impoliteness. It's just, well, I've walked in on my share of bodies here. I don't want to contribute to any last resort ideas.
Wills and Truss nods, catching his drift. You thought, I get it. I'm sorry. It hadn't even occurred to me when I asked.
It's all right. I'm sorry for being jumpy.
Wills and Trust gestures with the twine. Lumber only. I promise you, Mr.
Howard. Kenny Howard.
Wills and Trust shakes his hand. Michael. Pleased to meet you, Kenny. Kenny smiles back at him. Hard cut to a close-up on a pad of paper in the motel room. Michael writes on it, I'm sorry, Kenny. Cut to a wider shot where we can see that Michael has rigged the twine up into a noose hanging from the ceiling. He pins the note to his suit coat and climbs up on a chair. He stands there with the noose around his neck, eyes closed but not crying. He takes a deep breath and opens them, and then his eyes soften. He can see straight through the bathroom, out the small ventilation window into the field behind the motel. 3 horses stand on the crest of a hill, looking toward him. He gasps softly and holds in the sudden breath, clinging to it, afraid of what will happen when he lets it go. What happens is that his hands fly to the twine around his neck. Before he can untie it, there's a sudden pounding at the door. He jumps, startled, and falls off the chair, kicking it out of reach. He flails, suspended by his neck, clawing at the noose as the pounding continues. Through the door, we hear a woman's voice.
Michael? Michael, I know you're in there.
Michael tries to scream, but he can't. He swings back and forth and manages to kick the dresser, banging it loud.
Michael? Michael!
The pounding gets louder. Then the door starts rattling on its hinges as the person on the other side charges into it. After 3 tries, the woman bursts into the room. It's Erin Brockovich, played, as always, by Deborah Ann Wohl. She wears a red leather jacket over a flowery camisole, tight jeans, and Doc Marten boots.
Jesus Christ!
She pulls a pocket knife from her back pocket and cuts Michael down. He collapses to the floor, gasping for air. Cut to a few minutes later. Michael sits on the bed, sipping a glass of water. Erin watches him from the chair. You been tracking me?
Are you telling me you haven't been tracking me?
Of course I am. I'm watching all of you. But I work for the bad guys. I'm supposed to do shit like that.
Well, you work for the bad guys, so we have to keep an eye on you. Maybe you should thank us for that.
I wasn't going to do it.
Oh, so you were just putting on a show for who exactly?
Look, I've saved your ass twice now. Let's just call it even and forget this ever happened.
Well, that's exactly why I was following you.
What do you mean?
I've been trying to convince the rest of the firm that you're trustworthy, that you'd be a valuable addition.
Thanks, but I have a job.
So now you're feeling loyal to Milton and Hack?
I'm feeling loyal to $2.3 million a year plus bonus. Can you and your Muppet babies match that?
No, but I can give you a job that doesn't make you want to kill yourself.
This isn't about Milton and Hack.
Then what's it about?
I plead the 5th. Erin sighs and rolls her eyes.
Have it your way, but just know that we're not done coming for you, North, or for Milton and Hack. So if you're not with us...
Look, you know how I feel about you, North. I'm no friend of theirs, and that's why I helped you out.
But you said yourself. Now we're even.
I'm not the enemy, Erin. Erin cocks her head and studies him.
Then who are you?
Title card. Michael Clayton.
In 2022, 2 writers came together to finish what Universal Studios couldn't. A cinematic universe of monster movies called the Dark Universe. After 3 years and 30 scripts, the project was finally completed. Now, in 2025, they're back to take on a new case, bringing together the most iconic characters of another classic movie genre, legal dramas. I'm Dylan Roth.
And I'm Dalton DeShane. Do you object to the courtroom-averse?
Welcome to Do You Object to the Courtroom-averse, the podcast where we attempt to construct a shared cinematic universe of legal dramas featuring the genre's most iconic characters. I'm Dylan Roth, the plaintiff for today's episode.
That's right.
And I'll be interrogating my colleague Dalton DeShane's pitch for the latest installment of our franchise, Michael Clayton. Dalton, how do you plead?
Nervous, but excited. This is, of course, our first entry in Phase 2 of the Courtroom-averse after our climactic crossover event of Phase 1, The Firm.
Which is already pretty crucially important to the script that we just did the cold open to.
I want to get something out of the way up front.
Okay.
I want to assure you, I did not just write a The Firm movie without you.
Okay, I appreciate it because I'm still a little sour about Van Helsing.
I did Van Helsing, and that was kind of a Dark Legion movie. This one, I will say, does feature most I think all of our characters from the firm.
Okay.
Other than Justice Smith's Mitch. I didn't bring him back for this one. But this features all of them, but it is strictly from Michael's perspective. I thought, we've sort of broken our phases up, and phase 2 we're calling the trial.
Yeah.
And so I thought we should have, now that we have an official firm of our heroes, and we have Milton and Hack, which Michael Clayton works for, having these two go to trial head to head for the first time would be a good way, without like climaxing our U North thing.
Right, because we need to draw that out at least till the end of this phase, if not for the end of the saga.
Yeah, like that is going to keep going, but I thought we needed to have them on opposite sides of the courtroom. So those characters are going to be involved, but this is still a Michael Clayton story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued. First and foremost, this is how we reveal to like the audience that wouldn't be in on the metagame, right? Like the identity of wills and trusts, which I mean, people figured out as early as Aaron Brockovich who this was.
Yeah, Michael Clayton has some diehards, especially like post Andor. Now that everyone loves Tony Gilroy.
Tony Gilroy being, sort of the receiving a Michael Mann style restoration from folks who didn't know who he was, and now he has that mainstream success, right? So, but like. Also, like immediately seeing through the metagame of like Aaron Brockovich, originally played by Julia Roberts, now she's Deborah Ann Wall, and like the villainous character who clearly immediately clicks with her. Yes, it's a George Clooney character in another movie. So, but it will be interesting to see Lee Pace and Deborah Ann Wall's chemistry get to be explored more in this, because like their history so far is like Wills and Trust being a supporting character and Aaron Brockovich, who's sort of lets her off the hook in a crucial moment. Yeah. And then later on, like they build on that chemistry in the firm, but we've still never gotten his name in the text.
We've never gotten his name.
You all know already because we announced that we were going to do a movie called Michael Clayton.
Yes, it was in our slate reveal.
We kind of had to give up the ghost on that there. But
now he's finally named. He's out of the shadows. Like you said, like he's been like a supporting character, and now we're kind of flipping the script, and we're going to see everything now from his perspective and let the firm be our supporting characters.
Okay.
Right?
So now when you put it that way, it almost feels like, are we going to be revisiting the events of phase 1 now, like following the through line of like what the villain episode of that would have been?
Not exactly. We are going to find out a lot of shit that Michael's been dealing with while our main characters have sort of been obviously going through all of their various adventures. But we are not going to be strictly revisiting any Act 1 like moments that the fans have seen. I want
to like you don't want it to be a clip show, right?
Exactly, and especially when it's something like Michael Clayton. Like I love this movie. Like
it's one of my favorites.
I know you were kind of pissed when I nabbed it for phase 2.
I know, but like I got to pick the first round, and I picked Atticus, right? So it's like. I kind of can't. I got to do that one, so I think that it's fair.
I got to pick some of my favorites for phase 1 as well, but this is going to build on a lot of ideas that are in the original Michael Clayton film, but obviously it's not just a remake.
Well, for one thing, our character already as established is way deeper in the shit at Jump than Michael Clayton is in the original version. Michael Clayton in Michael Clayton, written and directed by Tony Gilroy, is an amoral fixer for a firm. He's not an accessory to murder. Yeah. Right. And when he finds out in that movie that he kind of is involved in that kind of mortal stakes, that's kind of what changes him. Yeah. So far in phase 1, we've already established him as a knowing participant in a conspiracy that has ended people's lives.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things, we see, obviously, in my cold open here, I open with Michael considering at least very strongly killing himself.
Yes.
And
I don't buy that this was a cry for help to flush out Aaron or whoever was following him. I think he's just playing it cool, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I was thinking about in the original Michael Clayton, Michael is sort of is miserable, right? And like he's miserable in his job. He's got the debt his brother owes that he's stuck with. Mm-hmm. He's really kind of stuck on all sides. And then he sort of gets this catharsis at the end. And but we've seen this Michael for I think 4 movies at this point.
Yeah, and
Michael
never for more than 2 minutes at a time, right? I think we did work a cameo for him into My Cousin Vinny.
Yes.
So I think he does at least he pops his head up at least briefly or in the post-credit scene of all 5
previous movies.
Was he in Atticus? Did we establish him that
Yeah,
early?
no, Atticus. I have him show up in Atticus as somebody kind of trying to shake Atticus off the case.
Oh, that's right.
That's when we first I don't even know if we established the name wills and trusts for him
Yeah,
yet.
that's
I
why
think
people
he was
didn't
just
figure it
some
out until
guy.
Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, it's an Aaron. We were like, it's the same person who.
And he's called Wills and Trust.
Yes.
So my thought was, well, what if he was at that point that early and he doesn't get that catharsis he gets at the end of the original Michael Clayton, and he's just stuck for longer and longer and longer? Where does that eventually take him?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the brink of suicide was kind of the answer. And we're going to see now that he's Aaron kind of has saved him from that brink, he's going to be faced with a few other kind of cornering circumstances that I think, kind of follow up on that feeling of being surrounded. Like, I almost thought about, for director for this one, doing the Safdie brothers.
Yeah,
because
honestly, that'd be pretty good.
Because I was like, they know how to make such a stressful film.
And nothing has to be happening in the scene for it to be frustrating other than the character stakes.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I thought that was maybe a little too manic for what I have going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about the director before we start, but I know I'm steamrolling our predictions right now. So I know we have predictions.
All right, we'll get back to it.
I mean, this is, again, our first pitch of phase 2, so people were chomping at the bit after the end of the firm.
Yeah, it's been a long break, and I'm happy to get back into this. Okay, so now we're going to go into summary judgment. This is the portion of the show where we address predictions, comments ahead of the release that we got when we solicited thoughts on social media. So, first of all, universally, across all the platforms that we talk about, fans are convinced that this is the installment that will see the title character, Michael Clayton, break ranks with the evil law firm Milton and Hack and get set on a righteous path, which will finally unite him with the ragtag legal team that we assembled in the firm. That seems like very likely. Like I feel like that's almost a given. But Michael Clayton is a movie that goes in some surprising directions. So maybe this will be that. I know you don't like to do exactly the movie that you're reinterpreting as well. So it's open. But the only debate really amongst people talking about this is that whether or not any recurring protagonists from phase 1 will actually appear in this movie. And if so, which one? We've already gotten our answer there, right? Aaron shows up in the teaser. Yeah, Aaron shows up right at the beginning, and I've kind of let the cat out of the bag that like the rest are going to be making appearances. Minus Mitch.
No Mitch. I really wanted to keep it. I don't know. I feel like Mitch's story came to a nice ending at the end of the firm that I didn't want to just like immediately pick it back up. I feel like he's someone we can let sit for a little bit and then come back. Yeah, and later.
Frankly, like it avoids a kind of a problem with Iron Man 3 coming right off of the Avengers, feeling like an epilogue to the Avengers.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that, but now that we have all of our people together in their own firm, I did want to use that. But some of them are just going to be kind of like cameos, and others will be more important. We'll see as we go.
Adelaide's defense attorney on Discord thinks that the only one of our heroes who's guaranteed to appear in Michael Clayton is Aaron Brockovich. And I have to say it's pretty likely, given that we've been teasing the romance between the two of them across these films already. Question asked and answered. Right?
Yeah. Couldn't even keep her out of the cold open.
Yeah.
They're right. They have chemistry. And
they do. I mean,
they go back the farthest. Well, I guess Atticus.
Well, I mean, it seems like, their relationship seems like it's a big part of the catalyst of, certainly explains the way that he more or less sabotages the bad guys in the firm.
Yeah.
Based on the strength of that little flirtation. But also, you've introduced another catalyst involved in a prediction for later, which is you have Arthur's monologue from the original Michael Clayton in the beginning of this movie. We don't know what the context is yet.
That's right. But the opening monologue is identical to the original.
It is.
Michael
I was
Clayton.
recognizing that right away. I will note that I have been considering a tattoo that says "Make Believe It's Not Just Madness."
I think I was considering another Michael Clayton tattoo. What was it? When I rewatched it, I was like, "Oh, that would make." I don't remember what it was.
I was thinking about getting it. It would be like almost like a what was it, like a prayer candle? What do you call it? Where it would
votive.
But of Arthur of Tom Wilkinson holding the bag of baguettes from that scene.
Yeah.
And it would just say, "Make Believe It's Not Just Madness." Anyway,
what does he write on the wall of the motel in the original?
Oh shit!
Can't remember. I feel like maybe that's what.
Isn't it some portion of that?
look it up. I literally just rewatched this as I was writing the script.
I watched it a couple of weeks ago just because I wanted to refresh and also any excuse to rewatch Michael Clayton.
Yeah. If you guys still haven't seen it after we've been teasing it for
We've
an
been talking
entire
about it for like 6 months, please watch Michael Clayton. Everybody knew who jumped on the show at the relaunch when we started the Courtroom-iverse is probably already a Michael Clayton fan and is fucking cannot believe that the extant audience hasn't already seen it.
I can't find it, but it doesn't matter. We can.
I'll put it up on the screen in the video version. Anyway, Gimmick got bored on Instagram. Thinks that a better foil for Michael Clayton in this movie would actually be Roman J. Israel, since Roman already went through something similar in his movie where he was sort of seduced by the money and power being offered by Milton and Hack, and then became disgusted by their evil actions. Plus, Michael Clayton was created by Tony Gilroy. Roman J. Israel is a Daniel Gilroy character.
It's true.
So that seems like they're kind of naturally, they're already sort of cousins, right?
Yeah.
So, we'll Roman presumably is going to appear. Dick Genital on Instagram thinks that no characters from our heroic legal team will appear until the post-credits, at which point we'll see them. See, now I'm just doubling back on things you really took some of the wind out of the predictions here. A lot of them were built around this.
That would be a very me thing to do, is to just isolate it, but I don't know. I'm high on our own supply after the fun of the film.
We are kicking off a phase, right? So it makes sense for us to tip our hand about how we're building phase 2, right?
Yeah.
Lawtreg on the Discord predicts that the role of Michael Clayton's mentally ill friend, Arthur Edens, played in the original film by Tom Wilkinson, will be portrayed by original Michael Clayton actor George Clooney.
That's actually a good idea. I have not... Well, I don't want to say any more about that.
Okay.
I don't want to say any more about that until we get into it. I don't want to spoil Arthur's role in this film.
Okay. So a couple folks on the server thought that was doubtful because it seemed too on the nose for you, but everyone agrees that whether or not Arthur is even a character in the movie, you will be paying homage to the famous bag of baguettes scene, which you have already done.
Man,
you're checking so many boxes right here in the teaser.
Look, here's my new strategy: is everything everyone predicts, get it out of the way in the cold open, so then they don't know what to expect.
Well, this is like with the Vera Drew pitch, where we were like, "Oh, you've checked all the Jurassic Park boxes in the first couple of minutes, and now you can do whatever you want."
Yeah.
Roman J. Palestine Esquire on the Discord thinks that the Courtroom-iverse version of Michael Clayton will have more of an action thriller vibe because we've already spent 5 movies cranking up the stakes.
That, not exactly action, but I am going to be borrowing. You know what? We'll talk about it after Act 1.
Okay. We're going to dive into Act 1 of Dalton DeShane's Michael Clayton right after this quick ad read. This episode is brought to you by RPG designer Jellyfish Lines and their new game, Townies. Townies is a journaling game based on the Lost and Found engine by Jack Harrison, and it's a love letter to Midwest Rust Belt cities and towns. This game is about how a town changes over time. This game is about the town and the people in it. This game is about the Rust Belt and those left behind by capitalism's chase for profit at the expense of people. Sounds like a UNorth project, am I right? Thank you in advance for checking out Townies. That's Townie and then S in parentheses. You can find it and any of Jellyfish Line's other games at jellyfishlines.card. That's CARRD.co. And by the way, the day that this episode is supposed to air happens to be Jellyfish Line's birthday. So happy birthday. Now back to our show.
Okay, so yeah, now that I've fit everyone's predictions into the cold open, I am very excited to take a left turn here in Act 1 and integrate, I think, something that no one was expecting. And I don't even know if I'm interested to see if you catch what I'm doing here in Act 1, but we'll find out. But I'm teasing too much. Do we want to just get into it?
Yeah. All right. Well, if it pleases the court, we'll now hear the case of the state versus Dalton DeShane's Michael Clayton.
Act 1. Seems like it's your lucky day, Mr. Easter. The clerk at the Bulletproof Casino counter slides a stack of bills through the slot, looking at the man across from her skeptically. The man is Nick Easter, played in the film by Cooper Hoffman. He gives the clerk a winning smile and takes the cash.
When you're on, you're on.
He folds the bills into his pocket and walks away, a little too briskly. We can tell he's doing everything in his power not to look over his shoulders. On his way out of the casino, he passes an old lady at a slot machine, fishing in her cup for her last quarter. He pauses, then keeps walking, bumping into her hard enough to send the quarter to the ground. She immediately leaps out of her seat onto her knees to look for it.
Hey, watch it, lady!
While she's on the ground, Nick slides up to the slot machine, and with the practiced elegance of a close-up magician, he slides a USB stick into a port on the back of it. He looks at his watch, timing out 5 seconds as the light on the stick flashes, then snatches it out just as the woman is climbing back onto her seat. Rude young man!
Yeah, up yours!
He walks away, smiling once he's out of her sight. Behind him, out of focus, we see her put in the coin and hit the jackpot. She shrieks with joy as coins spill out theatrically from the machine. He spares a glance over his shoulder and sees the 2 security guards following at a distance on either side. He faces straight ahead, eyes wide, ready to burst into nervous laughter, and hurries out the front door. Cut to Nick entering his shitty, messy apartment. He tosses the cash onto his coffee table, which is already blanketed in loose $50 bills. He thumbs through a stack of mail, unpaid parking tickets, final notice bills, then pauses on the final envelope. It's from the New York Department of Justice. He opens it and unfolds the letter. A jury summons. Nick stares at it a long while, his expression unreadable.
Looks like Christmas came a little early this year.
Jury duty? You're putting me on jury duty? Hard cut to Michael Clayton, standing in an expensive office across from Marty Hack, played in the film by Eric Bogosian.
Your freaking boy
My
from
freaking
Interview with a
boy.
Vampire.
Yes. The titular Hack. Michael wears a cashmere turtleneck to hide his bruised neck.
Jury consultant. Don't be dramatic.
Doesn't matter. It's not what I do. I'm a fixer, Marty, not a grad student.
Yeah, and I need you to fix something. And frankly, Mickey, you owe me after this weekend.
And I told you, I'm sorry.
It's going to take more than that. You left our 3rd biggest client hanging in the wind with his fucking dick out, and now he's going to trial for vehicular assault. As far as I'm concerned, you should be filing paperwork for the next year.
Something came up. I had to deal with it.
Don't bullshit me, Mickey. We've worked together for 17 years. You think I'm not upset about Arthur, too? Fucked all of us up. So you want to cry about it? You want to mope? Call me and we'll do it together. But you don't call me and say you're going to handle something and then bail. Got it?
Yeah, I got it, Marty.
Sorry to be so blunt. I promise it's only during office hours. Meet me in the lobby at 5 and I'll be downy soft.
So what's the fix?
The Vicksburg case is finally going to trial.
A preschool shooting?
We've been advised not to use the word preschool. Makes our client appear unsympathetic. I fucking thought so. All right, we'll get back to it.
This is New York City. You don't have to do much to make a firearm manufacturer unsympathetic.
That's exactly the problem. Vicksburg Firearms and its sister companies make up 30% of our portfolio, and as of right now, they don't have a snowball's chance in hell of surviving a case like this. Not in this city. Not with a fair trial.
It takes Michael a second to catch Marty's meaning. You're reinstating the Fitch initiative. Marty smiles.
And you thought I was punishing you.
Michael scoffs in disbelief. Despite Marty's tone, he doesn't appear overjoyed at this. Who's representing the plaintiffs?
Who do you think?
Michael nods, and hopefully so does the audience. We realize, of course, that he's talking about the firm.
I think it's time we finally show these upstarts who really runs this city.
Hard cut to Marty and Michael storming into a windowless command center. Large computer displays are glowing on every surface, most of them showing driver's license scans of ordinary-looking people. 24 people are rushing around, chattering about the people on the screens. Got the voting record back for Vanessa Lembeck. Biden in 20, Trump in 24.
Put her on the convert list and search her Facebook feed for Second Amendment posts.
Herman Grimes moved to Manhattan from Texas in 2017.
Austin or real Texas?
Love it.
Put her on the short list.
Michael and Marty walk through the chaos, observing. All of these are potential jurors?
That's right. If any of them defer, our guy in City Hall will let us know and we'll boot them. You'll have a list of 12 plus 6 alternates before you even step in the courthouse.
They stop in front of the main command desk, its enormous screens flickering through photos and enlarging potential candidates. I'm surprised there are 18 pro-gun prospects in Manhattan.
We told the AI to focus on the Upper West and East Sides.
Who do we have here? The screen displays a young, smiling black man. The person managing the computer speaks.
Eddie Weiss, 28 years old, no voting record, works at a nonprofit in Brooklyn dedicated to ending community violence. Dump him.
Wait. Michael steps forward. Any criminal record?
No, nothing.
Check his family. The man types and a number of documents appear on screen.
Here, uncle served 20 for illegal sales of firearms. Younger brother is currently incarcerated for possession. What are you doing, Michael? Reject this guy.
He's in.
What? Why?
The plaintiffs are going to be out there making the case that anytime someone gets shot, the whole chain is equally culpable. Gunman, dealer, manufacturer, meaning harsher sentences for people like his uncle. We just have to convince him that this case means more people in prison.
If that doesn't work, we use our corrections contact to put the squeeze on his brother.
Michael nods. Marty smiles and gestures to the man at the computer.
You heard our jury consultant. He's in.
A new face cycles into view. Nick Easter. What's his story?
Not sure. Just moved to the city this year. No prior residence on file, so we don't know where he came from. If he has a social media presence, he's using a pseudonym.
Well, find it. He's young. He has social media.
Young doesn't bode well for us. Maybe he's a young Republican.
Young, but he can afford to live in the West Village? Check if that address is rent stabilized.
No, fairly new development.
Young, white, and rich is good for us.
Maybe.
Michael studies the photo closely. Keep him on deck and find out more. Fade to Nick Easter, waiting on a wooden bench for jury selection. Michael Clayton finishes his sentence in voiceover. Might be a game time decision. Nick sighs, checks his watch, and leans back into the bench. Everyone in the courtroom looks tired and impatient, including Michael Clayton, sitting at the defendant's table. The plaintiff's table is empty. Michael looks at the judge and spreads his hands. It's clear they're familiar with each other. The judge shrugs and holds up all the fingers of his hand, mouthing the words, 5 minutes. Just then, the door bangs open. It's, of course, Vinny Gambini, played in the film by Pete Davidson. His suit coat is buttoned wrong and his eyes are bloodshot.
Sorry, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
You're 23 minutes late, Mr. Gambini. Vinny sets up at the table and starts pulling papers out of his crossbody bag.
Yeah, you can call me Vinny.
I will not. Nick is watching the show with a grin on his face. Michael smiles and shakes his head. He covers his mouth with his hand and talks to seemingly nobody. This is going to be easier than we thought. Cut to the Fitch Initiative Command Center. Everyone stands around watching a secret live camera feed from Michael's briefcase. They're looking at Vinny and smiling the same cocky smiles. Cut back to the courtroom. Jury selection has started, and Michael is in the middle of questioning a potential juror by the name of Damon Conlon. Mr. Conlon, have you ever owned a firearm?
No, sir.
Have you ever considered owning one?
No, not particularly.
Cut to the command center, where a flurry of documents with Damon's name and photo on them are filling the screens. A young paralegal, let's call her Claire, played by Elle Fanning, is on the mic with Michael. She's got an assistant at the desk manning the computer. He's lying. He got a concealed carry permit in New York City in June of 2020.
He wants on this jury.
Which means we want him. Back in the courtroom, Michael nods at the judge. We accept this juror, Your Honor. Now Vinny approaches the jury box. Michael can hardly contain his smirk.
How you doing, Mr. Connell, was it? Conlon. My bad, Conlon. I'm Vinny. Nice to meet you. Mr. Conlon, how do you feel about the Black Lives Matter movement?
Michael sits up a little straighter, curious.
Not strongly. Not strongly. Now, you told my friend Michael over there that you live near Washington Square Park. That was right in the thick of the protests, was it not? You're telling me you were quarantined with all them chanting outside your door and you don't feel any type of way?
Cut to the command center. Claire is in a panic. He knows about the permit.
Why would a dumbass like Vinny know that?
Back to Mr. Conlon in the jury box.
I back the blue. I'm proud of our first responders and the work they do. Did it scare you? Having that many people outside, angry, shouting for justice? I suppose. They're extremists. Violent, too. Looting, breaking windows, setting buildings on fire.
Michael is at full attention now. Claire says in his ear, look for an earpiece. Tap your ear 3 times if you see one. Michael searches the back of Vinny's head while he says,
And you're telling me you never once considered buying a gun to protect your family?
Michael sees it, a small, flesh-colored patch. He taps his ear.
Okay, sure, I considered it, yeah. How strongly? Did you, ever apply for a permit?
Long silence. Mr. Conlon glances at the judge.
Yeah, I got my permit. Preemptory challenge, Your Honor, on the grounds that Mr. Conlon lied on the stand. Wait, no.
The judge nods. Thank you, Mr. Conlon. You are dismissed. Mr. Conlon stands up.
No, I want to be heard.
I said you're excused, Mr. Conlon.
The Second Amendment protects our right to bear arms. This man is a traitor.
He points at Vinny and starts to climb over the ledge of the jury box. The judge bangs his gavel. Bailiffs run and tackle the man before he gets to Vinny.
This is a Marxist kangaroo court. The shooting never even happened. They're using AI videos to disarm the real patriots.
The man is dragged out of the courtroom. Vinny makes a yeesh face at the other jurors, and they laugh. Michael looks furious. Cut to Claire in the command center. Fuck. We really could have used him. Montage. We race through more jury selections, watching Michael and Vinny duel over the potential jurors. Meanwhile, Claire and her assistant do their research and advise, and Michael keeps a watchful eye on Vinny. Finally, after all jury spots are filled but one, Nick Easter walks forward to be questioned. He's wearing a Knicks cap, and just before he gets in the jury box, he checks his phone. Phone away, Mr. Easter.
Right. Sorry, Your Honor.
And hat off when you're in the jury box. Nick takes off his Knicks cap, revealing some very messy hat hair. Cut to Claire in the command center. All right, here's our game time decision. You want my input? We have enough of our short list still left in the pool. We don't need him. Michael hears this, but doesn't react. Vinny steps up to question Nick first.
You a Knicks fan? Yeah, runs in my blood.
Vinny sidles up close with his back to the judge.
Were you checking the score? It's a blowout. We're way up. My man.
Vinny daps him up. Mr. Gambini.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but as I'm sure you know, it's playoff season.
I do not care. You will maintain your professionalism in my courtroom.
Objection.
Uh-oh.
They do not do day games in the NBA playoffs.
Okay, look, I did my legal research. I did not do my basketball research.
Okay, all right. So since we've already interrupted.
Okay.
You motherfucker, you're doing Runaway Jury.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
You got me.
Nick Easter was a familiar name, but I didn't figure it out for sure until we started doing the jury selection thing. And then I heard the name of the gun company, which I do remember from the many times that I watched Runaway Jury on
You've
HBO
watched it
in
many
high school.
times. Okay.
I have seen Runaway Jury a bunch of times because it used to be on HBO all the time.
I didn't know if you had seen it.
No, I've seen it. In fact, I was this close to drafting it for season 2. So and I'm now glad that I didn't because I like what you're doing here.
Yeah.
I'm like a little bit jealous, but like, if it was that urgent, I would have drafted it for the Phase 2 slate, and I didn't do it. So,
look, we did a Grisham.
We did a Grisham with the firm. I just didn't think
we're integrating another Grisham here.
My hesitation was how soon do we want to do another Grisham? Yeah. And we were doing them back to back, but it's a stealth Grisham.
It's a stealth Grisham.
Okay, so you've put Cooper Hoffman in the John Cusack role, which is perfect.
I also for some fucking reason watched this when I was in like junior high, and I read the book. This is the only John Grisham book I've ever read.
I'm surprised of no one. I've never read the book.
I have read one John Grisham book. It's Runaway Jury because I liked the movie for some reason.
The thing is, it's a good movie.
It's fine.
All right. It does fall in the category. We were just talking about this with Daniel Kibblesmith. There are times where you get attached to a movie as a young person.
Yeah.
And then and it's so fucking funny just thinking back about we keep getting these like dark universe type pitches, and that's not even like remotely what we do anymore.
No.
We got to find like somebody who writes legal thrillers to come in and do a guest pitch.
For some reason I don't think it's as fun for the guests for some reason.
Maybe
to come in with a legal
also,
thriller.
There's not like the wealth. We kind of got to keep the wealth, like the best part of the source material to ourselves.
Yeah,
unless we want to be like adapting. What's the one that Robert Downey Jr. did? The Judge, I guess.
Oh.
Right. And it was a flop. So then he immediately turned around and did Dr. Dolittle.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
So I didn't see that, but it's like, that's like kind of the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Too recent to remake, and also who gives a shit movies to do for our story.
And we also don't want to entirely lose the audience that was here for horror movies.
We're trying to stick with the ones that people have heard of, and people have heard of Runaway Jury.
Yes, even if they haven't seen it.
A movie that I like, and that, first of all, I think that's Gene Hackman's final film role.
Was it really?
It was. I think it's around the time he retired.
Stacked cast in that film.
It's him, Hoffman, Rachel Weisz, our gal.
I will say, Dustin Hoffman, not Cooper Hoffman.
Right.
We have a different
Hoffman you have in the John Cusack role.
I did try to rewatch this, and it was a lot worse than I remembered it when I was a kid.
Okay. Well, I also remember that they pull sort of a Drew Barrymore thing in that the guy, the teacher, I guess, who gets killed in the shooting, in the school shooting at the beginning of the movie, is played by Dylan McDermott.
Oh, yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And that always felt like a pretty good Psycho style twist, that you would have a guy who was at that point like the lead of a primetime TV show in The Practice. Fans of The Practice would be coming out to see the Grisham adaptation in theaters.
Then he gets killed.
And then you immediately kill him off.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore.
Yes. I'm still stuck on just like Nick Easter. I know who that is. And so my first thought was, because you cast Cooper Hoffman, my first thought was, oh, are you going to remake a role that was his father's role, a Philip Seymour Hoffman role? What would that be? And I'm like going through the Rolodex. He had such an enormous and varied career. Like, did he do a legal drama?
Maybe like I could find a way to integrate Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, which is a Sidney Lumet. But no, it is, I am doing Runaway. Look, it's Runaway Jury meets Michael Clayton, because that's the kind of thing they would have a fixer do.
All right. That is the kind of thing we have a fixer do. He's sort of doing the Gene Hackman role, right, in this.
And as we're going to see, I think Nick Easter is a very interesting foil for Michael Clayton.
Okay, I'm excited to see that. And I know we have to get back to the scene. I think that was probably an okay time for me to pop in and interject, right? Even if it was for basketball reasons. This is the kind of thing where, like, do we want to do necessarily a full remake of Runaway Jury? Like, I was thinking about it, right? But I didn't feel like, all right, time to do a Grisham by itself. And also, like, what would I do differently? Exactly, right? Because the gun control thing, we've had zero movement.
Yeah.
The resolution of that movie is completely unrealistic, but again, it's a fantasy. So the idea of a Michael Clayton movie that's also a Runaway Jury remake is exactly the kind of thing the Courtroomiverse is
That's
for.
Right. We are in phase 2 now. We've got all of our principles established. We're throwing them in.
Yes.
I mean, this is what we did in phase 2 of the Dark Universe too, right?
Yeah,
we started
this is where
doing
we
more
start
like
mixing that shit
mashup
in.
stuff.
I feel like now we have established the premise of the Courtroomiverse, and now we can start doing a little bit more cross-pollination as we go.
Well, my first pitch for phase 2 of the Dark Universe was The Mummy Returns, which integrated. It was a sequel to our Mummy movie, but also a sequel to the other Mummy movies. So that's when we started really mashing the action figures together.
Right. And so now you've done the same thing with our Grishams.
Yeah. I didn't canonize a whole trilogy here.
There was a point in the draft of Atticus that I did consider calling the evil firm Grisham and Gilroy. It was like, no, we're not being that cute in this story. Like, there's a little bit of a tonal shift. Like, before we were doing sort of pulp horror and you could do shit like that, that's a little too much.
Yeah. I mean,
especially since we will be talking about Grisham and Gilroy in the show.
In phase 3, when we have a courtroom on a spaceship, we can start getting that cute with stuff.
God, I mean, outside of Star Trek, I think that space law is underserved in movies.
That's right.
I would love to write a space law. So maybe we'll get there. We'll see how long people will tolerate this version of the show.
After this saga, we move to a sci-fi legal drama universe.
Oh, don't joke. Don't tempt me. Oh.
All right, should we get back into the scene?
Let us know in the comments if you would tolerate us doing a space season of our law fan fiction show. Okay. Back to our show.
Okay. So look, the detail of there being a game is honestly irrelevant. It was just some cute things.
I know, it was very cute. Yeah. I just had to razz you about it, and it made for a good point for me to get into talking to me. I didn't want to not have room to talk about, which is the Runaway Jury of it all.
Yes.
Because I'm sure there were people in the chat who were like, oh my God, they're doing Runaway Jury. But for the rest of them, I want to make sure they're not behind the 8 ball for that long.
For everyone younger than us, because I feel like Runaway Jury has been completely memory hold.
Absolutely. If you were not around when it was on HBO every 5 minutes, then you've probably never heard of this movie. And like, does anybody our age read John Grisham?
No, absolutely not.
I don't think so.
And the way you know that this movie has been completely memory hold is it was available on Plex, not in my server. It was in Plex's streaming selection.
Okay.
And that is...
Sometimes they've got goodies in there.
Sometimes they got some goodies, but it's not a great sign.
All right, back to our show.
You will maintain your professionalism in my courtroom. Nick raises his hand.
Actually, Your Honor, I kind of want to talk about that.
I'm sorry. Nick turns to Vinny.
You play 2K? Oh, fuck yeah.
Mr. Gambini.
Yeah, well, I probably kicked your ass in it before. I'm ranked top 10 in the nation. No shit!
Mr. Gambini, this is your last warning. Mr. Easter, what exactly is your point?
Well, next week is the National 2K League Championship at freaking Madison Square Garden, and I'm set to compete. Top prize is $1 million. I can't really say no to that for jury duty.
The judge steams. Mr. Gambini, allow me to take this juror off your hands. Nick grins, hopeful. I'd like to teach him a lesson in civic responsibility and make sure he participates in this trial.
Ah, Judge, have a heart.
Don't test me, Gambini. The judge turns to Michael. What about you, Mr. Clayton? Do you have any objection to this? In the command center, Claire throws her arms up in frustration. Back to Michael. No, sir, Your Honor. Then it's settled. Jury selection is now complete. The trial begins on Monday at 8 a.m. sharp, no matter what type of video game competitions may be occurring. He bangs his gavel. Court is adjourned. A short while later, Michael walks through an empty hallway of the courthouse, whispering into his earpiece. It was Israel. Roman J. Israel. He's part of the firm. They'd never put him in front of a jury, but they must have him doing their research. He stops short as he rounds a corner and sees a portly man sitting on a bench in the hall. It's Lieutenant Frank Columbo, played in the film by Zach Cherry. He stands up when he sees Michael.
Michael Clayton.
Lieutenant, what brings you to the courthouse?
Just checking in on a homicide case I helped with last year. I was expecting to run into you. I didn't think you were taking cases these days.
Just helping out with some jury selection.
Grunt work, huh? Must be in the doghouse.
Something like that.
Say, while I got you, I should let you know I been assigned your friend's case. Arthur Eden.
Michael is taken by surprise. Arthur? But I thought it was ruled a suicide.
It was. We've reopened it in light of some new evidence. Afraid I can't say what. But rest assured, Mr. Clayton, we're going to do whatever it takes to get you some closure.
Yes, well, thank you, Lieutenant.
Say, would you mind telling me when the last time you spoke to Arthur was?
Milwaukee. Yeah, I got him out of jail after his breakdown, and then he ran. I didn't see him again until he passed.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's interesting.
How is that interesting?
Well, we have a voicemail he left for,
He flips open a notebook and scans what he's written.
Anna Kaiserson from the night he died. He mentions running into you on the street that afternoon. But based on what you said, that can't be right. I mean, I assume you would remember the last time you spoke to one of your closest friends.
Yes, I would. And Arthur wasn't well in his final days.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it. Mental illness is a hell of a thing.
Yes, especially for Arthur.
Well, I'm sorry to bother you with that. I know you're still grieving. Just doing my due diligence, you know?
I understand, Lieutenant.
Anyway, you're a busy guy. I'll let you go. Still can't believe we just ran into each other out here. I mean, what are the odds?
Yeah, funny.
Well,
Columbo starts to back up and Michael turns to leave.
Oh, Mr. Clayton, just one more thing.
Michael sighs and turns back around. Yes, Lieutenant?
You know what? Never mind. I shouldn't say anything until I know for sure.
Know what for sure?
Well, it appears someone may have broken into Mr. Eden's apartment after he died.
Really?
Afraid so. See, when I went to this crime scene the first time, I noticed this book next to a chair in his living room, A Woman Scorned by Shelley Stockham. See, my husband loves these books. That's why it stuck out to me. It's part of a series, I guess, about a rogue FBI agent or something. I'm not into it. I get enough of that on the job. But my husband, he says it's a real page turner. Couldn't put that one down.
Where is this going, Lieutenant?
You're right. I'm sorry. Let me get to the point. See, there was something else interesting about the book. There was a slip of paper sticking out. I figured it was just a bookmark, but it was close to the end, like 20 or so pages. And that stuck out to me.
Why is that?
Well, it's just the way my husband talks about it. Like, he just had to know how it ended. It made me sad, that Mr. Eden's was apparently so messed up inside that he couldn't even sit down and get to the end of the story.
Yeah, well, last time I saw Arthur, I don't think he was thinking about books very much.
Yes, of course. Nevertheless, that was the first thing that made me think, maybe this wasn't a suicide. So then yesterday, I go back to the scene, and it's the damnedest thing. The book is gone. So suddenly, I start thinking maybe that wasn't a book. Maybe that piece of paper was important. I'm kicking myself for not checking it that first day.
Arthur's apartment was always a mess. Perhaps you just forgot where it was that he had left it.
You know, I thought the exact same thing. Hell, I'm getting old. My memory's starting to go. So I reach out to the crime scene photographer, and wouldn't you know it, the book had been exactly where I thought it was.
Who do you think would have wanted to break into Arthur's apartment?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? You know what the strangest part is?
What?
You know, when we leave the crime scene like that, we tape it up with these official NYPD seals to make sure no one tampers, you know? Whoever the thief was, he taped the scene back up with the same kind of seal. Totally legit. All official. To cover his tracks.
The blood has drained from Michael's face.
So the question isn't just who was breaking in, but who has a close enough tie with the NYPD to get his hands on one of them seals.
That's quite the mystery, Lieutenant.
Well, that's what they pay me for. Figure out that kind of thing. Say, don't you have a brother on the force out in Queens?
Yes, I do. Why?
That's probably nothing. Hey, we'll get him one way or the other. There was a security camera in the bodega across the street. We're just waiting for the footage to come in.
Yes, well, keep me updated on what you find.
Sure thing, Mr. Clayton. Sure thing.
Lieutenant Columbo walks away, leaving Michael stone-faced and still in the hallway.
Oh, man, that's so much fun. Because, like, we didn't introduce Columbo until the firm, so, like, I think I did read him when we did the initial read, but I didn't get to do the final thing. And, God, it's so much fun. You got both of them, like, I'm sure you know you only get one each of their, but one more thing and one Mr. Columbo story. But, fuck. I just fucking... Look, I love it.
It's going to be so hard for me not to put Columbo in every single movie I write from here on out.
That's
just
the thing
so
with,
much
like,
fun.
We didn't put a Columbo movie on the slate because I think we both thought that we'd just be doing that.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, first of all, just writing Columbo episode, there's kind of already somebody doing that, right? That's just Poker Face.
Yeah. Poker Face, it's Knives Out. Yeah.
And as tempting as it is, just do one of those. It doesn't feel like it's necessarily in the spirit of our show.
Yeah.
But it's like, we're trying to do legal dramas, not detective stories. Sometimes they overlap, right? But Columbo as like a recurring supporting character, like our Phil Coulson.
Yeah.
You know, that is maybe one of our favorite ideas that we've done on this. I'm just really happy with it. I just keep imagining Zach Cherry in the role I think he was born to play.
Yes.
All right. We can jump back in. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
No, we're almost done with Act 1.
All right,
so
let's go.
we'll talk
Let's
about
go.
the rest soon.
Yeah.
Later that evening, Michael arrives home. His home is Spartan, to say the least. The apartment of a bachelor who spends almost no time there. He tosses his jacket on a chair and looks in the hallway mirror as he lowers his turtleneck, revealing the bruising from his hanging attempt. He frowns at it and covers it up again. He checks the fridge. Empty. He sighs, looking around his kitchen, and his eyes land on the red book we saw in the cold open. A Woman Scorned by Shelley Stockham. He grabs it, along with the paper tucked in its pages, and locks it away in a wall safe. Then he takes out his cell and calls someone. Hey, it's me. Look, do you want to grab some coffee tomorrow?
Michael, I can't be talking to you right now.
No, okay. I know that. I promise this is above board. I feel like I have some explaining to do. Silence from the other end. Please. Nobody will see us, I promise.
Okay, fine. Text me the address.
The next day, a nondescript hole-in-the-wall coffee shop. Michael sits, waiting. He looks up to see Erin Brockovich enter and take a seat on the other side of the booth. She looks wary, skeptical. Thank you for coming.
How are you doing?
Me? Oh, I'm fine. Little bit of a sore throat. Erin does not find this amusing. Sorry. You want something? They do this like a popcorn latte thing here with actual kernels of popcorn on top.
Is that what you're having?
No, this is just black.
I'm good. What did you call me here for?
Michael stares off to the side for a while, eyes unfocused. One of Milton and Hack's top litigators died last week. Arthur Edens. He'd been with us for 2 decades at least, and he was one of the only people in the world that I think I could rightfully call a friend.
I'm I'm very sorry to hear that.
He was diagnosed with some kind of mental health thing a while back. Manic depressive, bipolar, or one of those. His meds kept it under control, but about a month ago, he stopped taking them for some reason. When they found the body, it seemed like a pretty straightforward suicide, but I don't know. Now the cops are saying something about murder.
Do you believe that?
I don't know. He was working on... He stops himself before he says too much. A pretty big case for us. A lot of powerful people involved. I went to his apartment to investigate and I found this document that he'd somehow gotten his hands on.
Michael,
What?
I'm sorry for your loss. I really am, but we're now on opposite sides of two massive cases that will make or break my firm. I appreciate the help you've given us in the past, but I can't be your friend, you know?
Yeah. No, I know. I felt like I owed you an explanation for the other day and some reassurance that won't happen again. I was in a low place, but I'm okay now.
Do you have someone else to talk to?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And anyway, I'm fine on my own.
No one is fine entirely on their own. You know, my offer stands, right? You're welcome to join the firm at any time. We can't match your pay. The friendship will come a lot easier.
I appreciate that, but you guys are doing just fine without me. He straightens up in the booth, ready to change the subject. Speaking of, are you really going to put Vinny Gambini on the Vicksburg case?
Oh, God, no. No, he was just on jury duty.
So who's up?
Atticus.
Not you?
Oh, we thought that, given the political nature of the case, maybe the jury would be more receptive to a man.
Mm-hmm. Before he can follow up on that, both of their cell phones buzz. Being lawyers, neither of them has any issue with stopping their social interaction to check their work phones. They read their messages at once, then look up at each other.
Is this you?
No. They look at the message again, and now we get to see it too. In all caps, the message reads, "This jury belongs to me. Highest bidder takes the verdict. Let the games begin." End of Act 1.
All right. Okay. First of all, I'm really digging this. This is really fun. I like that also you haven't let the runaway juriness of it overtake the Michael Claytonness of it.
That was a tricky balance. Because I think it's fun, to have Michael dealing with something unrelated. Because the thing is, we can't resolve the U-North thing right now. Right?
No, that's a part of our longer game.
And so that's part of with where Michael is at right now, is the U-North thing has not resolved the way it does at the end of Michael Clayton. And it can't right now. But I thought it was interesting to then check in with Michael after Arthur has been killed, which we haven't seen. You know, this has been entirely off screen.
Right. We never even see Arthur before this.
No, this is, and well, I won't spoil it if we do or not.
Okay. Now, here's an interesting thing. There was half a second there, and maybe this is still part of it, where I thought that maybe in this version of the story, Michael is involved in Arthur's death. Like the way that he's really nervous talking to Columbo.
Yeah.
Takes a lot to shake Michael Clayton, right?
It does.
So I thought perhaps he was a little bit worried that Columbo was onto him, because also that's usually how it works in a Columbo episode.
It's true.
Because we're usually taking the point of view of the culprit in Columbo. But again, this is a different context. Not every one of Columbo's interactions in our movies can have the same relationship to the story, right? So for a minute, I'm like, oh my God, did our Michael Clayton fucking kill his best friend to protect the firm? Or to protect his clients, his firm, not the firm. It's going to be a little confusing when we have the firm. We're going to have to give them an in-universe name at some point.
Yeah. I mean, well, something a little more distinguishable.
Yeah, but it's sort of like, like in the trailer for Watchmen, they refer to the super team in Watchmen as Watchmen.
Yeah.
Because it would be confusing to talk about, I don't remember the name of the team in the actual book and movie. Like, we refer to the firm that our characters are in as the firm because the movie is called The Firm. They should have a real name. We should come up with something that's not like Finch and Israel and Brockovich and Associates or whatever.
Famous movie characters.
Yes.
Esquire. I mean, I won't say any more of that. I did think, we know at least Michael has done the break-in.
Yes.
And so that at least gives us enough for. I'm not going to say we're going to see how this Arthur thing develops through the rest of the movie.
Right.
We know at least that he did the break-in
Right.
to get
In the
book.
original movie, for those of you who still haven't seen Michael Clayton, you fools, there is a part in Michael Clayton where he is suspicious about the death of his friend, and he breaks into his apartment, and he does have his cop brother give him unknowingly the tools that he needs to get back in and cover his tracks. All right, that is why he's nervous, because he did break into the apartment, which is illegal to do, and he did tamper with evidence.
He broke in, he tampered with evidence, he used the seal, which is why Columbo's like, oh yeah, it must be someone with NYPD connections. Oh, you have a brother in the force, right?
Yeah. And in
Columbo knows that it was
in
him.
a Columbo episode, Columbo has the case solved already.
Yeah.
And we kind of can presume that he does here too.
Yeah.
But he's going to be, especially as somebody who's already kind of allied himself with the firm, he is somebody who's going to be more curious about Michael's intentions. I really like the way you wove in the rest of the main characters and like the rest of our ensemble into the story.
Oh, thank you.
When you talked about trying to do that without having it overtake the story, like this is like the best case version I could think of.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got, I really wanted it to feel like he's surrounded on all sides. He's mixed up in, he's reeling from Arthur's death, which we don't know the circumstances of yet, but we know that he did break in and tamper with evidence after the fact. He tried to kill himself and then changed his mind. He now is on a case, which for him is usually the easy part of his life, but now this text messages come in, and that's going to turn that all upside down.
Right. So now is maybe even opportunity for like Gene Hackman's character from Runaway Jury to still be part of this story. I can't remember his name.
It was Fitch, which is why it's called the Fitch Initiative.
I thought that might be it. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Runaway Jury, and I will probably put it on when I get home. Since it's streaming for free on Tubi.
And so now we have Michael also up against Erin and her firm. They are both being blackmailed by some unknown entity to them. He's trying to keep his head above water in a million different ways. And I thought, that, and look, this is the action figure smashing together part of the fun, where I get to be like, oh, Michael Clayton does this illegal thing in the original version. Wouldn't it be fun if Columbo was the one investigating him for that?
Really, I'm really happy with the way that we're really reaching the point where we get to we slow rolled phase 1 because we did want to do that Marvel thing of these are each individual movies and they work by themselves. I'm so excited by the potential of this now. This is a great introduction to phase 2. I almost feel like I'm going to have to mess with some of my plans for And Justice for All to see if it can involve some more
Columbo. Columbo.
I feel like I got to get Columbo in there at some point to deal with my my Pacino analog.
I like Columbo being sort of the Stan Lee, just always making an appearance and really annoying the fuck out of our characters.
It's like, why are you here? I mean, it actually feels like that could be a pretty good match. I'm already kind of thinking of ways I can work this into the story that I've broken. So that's very exciting.
And now we know that Atticus is going to be the one actually doing the trial. We haven't seen Roman J. Israel, but he was the one on the mic helping Vinny out with the jury selection. Because as we know, Roman is not exactly client-facing.
No, not a people person. It's always better being the man in the chair.
Yeah.
I also, just like a little tidbit, but I just like the way that we keep nodding to the way that we present Atticus in these stories. We imply an advantage that Atticus would have with a jury for his gender. Once again, doing the thing that we like doing with Atticus, which is never bringing his transness into it at all.
I thought about it. I thought about being was the transit, because this is, a very right-wing, left-wing kind of case. Is that going to matter? But then I'm like, well, first of all, Elliot, not that this is everything, but Elliot Page passes. So the jury,
of course,
the jury would have no idea.
But I like that, I don't know. We talked about this in the Dark Universe. We talked about this it's cool to have queer characters who just get to be characters and they don't have to it's baked into how you kind of think of what Atticus's worldview is like. But we didn't bring it up in Atticus and we didn't bring it up in the firm and we haven't brought it up here.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of fun. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It scratches a nice itch for me where I like that we get to have one of the big leads of our franchise, the great grandchild of one of the most iconic characters in fucking American cinema, is
in
trans
American
and
literature as well. Yeah.
and is trans, and we just don't even bring it up.
Yeah,
Like
and-
that's how far we can advance as a society.
That's something we could address in the future. We could explore it more from
Yeah, when
Atticus'
we-
point of view, but
when
like it's
we
not the
have
defining thing about
when
it.
we have a story that demands that,
Yeah.
then we can do that. Otherwise, he just gets to be Atticus Finch Craver, like the great grandson of the legendary but perhaps misunderstood legal figure. This is just like this. It almost feels like in not a clip show way, right? But it does kind of feel like we get to play the hits a little bit, at least in my head. Like I get to reflect back on the things I like about this.
Yeah.
So,
And for all of you that thought the legal drama universe was going to be boring,
Yeah.
and I hope
we've
we're
given
finally.
you romance.
I
we
hope
give
you're
you
still listening.
the queer representation you demanded, and also, I don't know. I know that there are people who, from the moment they're like, "Oh, that's Michael Clayton," we've been like shipping Michael and Aaron very hard in the Discord. So
I give them a little will they, won't they here. I'm leaning on the won't they because
you want to do stuff that puts obstacles in their way.
Yeah.
And also Michael Clayton being like fairly tragic figure.
Yeah.
Like you kind of figure like even if they did hook up here, by the end of the movie, they've broken up.
Yeah. And Aaron wants to help, but like, she's thinking more clearly than Michael right now.
Yeah.
And is also building her career. Like she can't afford, no one at the firm can afford to fuck up.
I mean,
this
she's
case.
already advanced beyond the actual real life Aaron Brockovich, who was never a full on attorney.
Sure.
Like the fictional Aaron Brockovich gets to be a lawyer. I'm sure she'd approve. We have not had any discussions with her or her
of course
family. Please don't sue us. By the way, ready to go to Act 2?
Yeah, let's take a quick break. I got to pee, and then we will go into Act 2.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, a nerd from California decided to remake an iconic Japanese film as a space fantasy with a self-insert. And that somehow turned into one of the biggest franchises the world has ever seen. Now, Star Wars surrounds us, binds us, and penetrates us in a landscape of cinema more than he could have possibly imagined. Korean cinematographers will go from sensitive lesbian period dramas to an Obi-Wan Kenobi series. The director of a silent film starring the Comanche and Kiowa nations will do the makeup on a Peter Cushing movie. A prolific voice actor will make a one-off appearance in a Lego special. This is 6 Degrees of Star Wars, where host Sam Marchioni embarks on a journey to expand her cinematic horizons while clutching her space fantasy security blanket. So, are you coming? Search for 6 Degrees of Star Wars wherever pods are cast, or visit them at 60osw.buzzsprout.com.
Act 2. Aaron Brockovich storms out of the coffee shop, Michael following behind. Aaron, wait.
I can't be talking to you.
Wait. What, you think we did this? I got the same message.
No, I need to talk about it with my team.
You're not thinking about paying them, are you?
What? No, are you?
It's a bluff. There's no way they control that jury.
That's not exactly the answer I was hoping for.
Come on, we should work together on this.
We can't afford to lose this case, and we definitely can't afford to have it thrown out. Sorry, Michael. Just don't call me again.
She walks away, leaving Michael standing helpless on the sidewalk. Cut to Nick Easter's apartment. He paces in the kitchen while 7 20-somethings sit at his dining table, surrounded by 4 phones each, furiously scrolling and tapping.
Who's next?
One of the boys, played by Roman Griffin Davis, responds without looking up from his phone.
Oh. I don't know why I didn't think of this.
What?
That Nick owns the jury.
Oh, yes, because that's what it is in Runaway Jury.
Right. I don't know. I'm such a fucking idiot.
In Runaway Jury, Fitch is trying to control the jury, but Nick is controlling it from the inside.
Right. But no one suspects him because he's in the jury.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Well, now the audience has just learned that as well. And that's when I've realized that's what's happening.
It's about to be revealed.
All right, going back in.
One of the boys, played by Roman Griffin Davis, a.k.a. Jojo Rabbit, responds without looking up from his phone. Let's call him James. Tracy Kinghorn. She's black, in her mid-40s, it looks like.
Right. Yes. Her phone wallpaper was 2 young kids, probably her sons.
Got him. Curtis and Devin.
Perfect. Generate some passwords using their names, initials, and estimated birth years.
James looks at his phone while the program runs. Nothing. Another boy speaks up. Wait, hold on. Facebook post from last year. My Gemini twins.
Run it again with 05 and 06 added for birth months.
Got it. I'm into her Facebook.
Fuck yeah. Go through her messenger first. $50 says that's her primary app for communication. If that doesn't work, try the same password on WhatsApp.
He turns to the sole female hacker.
Whit, how are you looking on the legal teams? Vincent Gambini, Atticus Finch, Jack Molina, and who was the other jury consultant? Michael Clayton?
Nothing so far. She looks up at him and grins. But I found out something fun about the judge.
Yeah.
I think we have our first move. Cut to Marty's office at Milton and Hack. Marty is peering at Michael's phone through glasses perched on the tip of his nose.
What am I looking at here? Are you trying to say someone's holding our jury for ransom?
I'm saying someone is saying that.
You think they're bluffing?
They have to be. We did the research on the jury ourselves. They're in our pocket. There's absolutely no way they flip on us.
You're sure about that?
Yes, Marty. I've got this under control. Marty sighs and hands the phone back to Michael.
This feels like a Roman J. Israel play.
Aaron got the same message.
And you think he didn't know you were together? He was playing you, Michael.
Why would they risk getting the case thrown out? They need a win, not a mistrial.
Okay, then who?
Then nobody. This is a hoax. I showed it to you to keep you in the loop, but there's nothing we should be doing about this. Marty nods and sits at his desk.
I trust you, Michael. You know that. But this case is too important. If things go off the rails, you bring me in. Got it?
Of course. But don't worry, this case is going to be a breeze. The next day, on-screen text reads, Kellums versus Vicksburg Firearms, Day 1. Michael gets out of an Uber and enters the lobby of Milton and Hack. His stride slows when he sees Lieutenant Columbo in the lobby, looking around at the architecture. He tries to sneak past the lieutenant to the elevator, but Columbo spots him.
Mr. Clayton?
Oh, hello, Lieutenant. What can I help you with?
Oh, nothing. Just working on Mr. Eden's case. Wanted to stop by, see his office. Maybe talk to Mr. Hack. But, receptionist here, she says I need an appointment.
Yes, it's a pretty busy day here. The Vicksburg case is starting.
Oh, is that today? Yeah, well, I'll call ahead next time. I was just in the neighborhood, thought I'd drop in.
I'm sure he'd be happy to speak with you another day. Michael turns to the elevator.
Oh, just one thing before you go.
Michael sighs and turns back around.
Feel like I should update you. We got the surveillance back from Mr. Eden's apartment.
Oh?
Yes, see, turns out, I was right about the break-in. We caught someone on camera breaking the police seal and entering the premises.
Wow. Can you see who it is?
No, sir, unfortunately. Footage is too dark. But we did catch him on camera applying a fresh police seal to the door frame.
Just as you said. You're quite the detective, Lieutenant.
You don't have to say that. I'm just trying to get some justice for your friend.
Michael's phone buzzes. He glances down at it. It's a text from an unknown number.
So anyway, we're conducting a citywide audit of all those crime seals. See if we can find out who signed this one out and to who.
Michael opens the text. It reads, and we're off. First day of the trial of the century. Time to party like it's 19. And then there's a link to a TikTok video. Michael turns off his phone and puts it away. That sounds like a big job. How long could that take?
Oh, it's tough to say, Mr. Clayton. Could be weeks, could be a couple days. But once we find out, that should be enough for us to get a search warrant signed.
Michael nods slowly. Yes, well, best of luck, Lieutenant. The elevator dings open and Michael steps inside. Columbo gives a smile and a wave. Cut to the jury holding room. The 12 jurors are sitting around, sipping coffee, looking at their phones. One of the jurors, an older guy, is looking at a printed out list of restaurants.
These are the lunch options? Is there really nothing better around here?
You're thinking about lunch already? We just got here.
They're paying us $35 a day. The least they could do is get us a good lunch. I mean, am I just going to eat Sweet Green for 2 weeks straight?
Oh, I love Sweet Green. You should try the Harvest Bowls.
I don't eat lunch out of a bowl.
A bailiff enters and stands at the end of the table. Good morning, jurors. Your first order of business is to elect a foreperson to act as your representative in the courtroom. You have 15 minutes. I'm going to step out of the room now. You all talk amongst yourselves, and I'll be back at 8:52. She leaves.
How the hell are we supposed to decide that?
Great question, juror number one. I'm actually going to summarize most of it. So the jurors are going to discuss and debate, and this will be our chance to kind of learn some things about the more minor jurors that we won't see as much. Nick Easter is going to listen and watch quietly, flipping a pen up and down to himself, staying out of it. The point is that the conversation is going to start to turn towards juror number 7, a Roy Kempson, who served in the Marines and cuts an imposing figure. Meanwhile, Nick looks over at Tracy Kinghorn, who's been sitting silently next to him with her phone on the table, the pictures of her kids showing face up. The debate is dying down, with everyone almost settled on Roy when Nick speaks up.
What about Tracy?
Everyone looks around. Nobody's more shocked than Tracy herself. Me?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm sorry to pry.
He gestures at her phone.
You're a mom, right?
Yes. 2 beautiful boys.
Yeah, and look, I hope you take this as the compliment it's intended as, but you look like you run a 6-year-old's birthday party like it's the Navy.
Tracy smiles, embarrassed. Well, yes. You bet I do. Someone's got to keep those kids behaved.
Look, I mean no disrespect to Mr. Kempson here, but we're not exactly Marines. We're a ragtag group of randos thrown together and expected to solve one of the biggest cases of the century. And I think we need more of a kid wrangler than a drill sergeant.
Everyone looks to Roy. He grins. Kid's got a point. You up for it, Mrs. Kinghorn? She looks flustered and flattered. Well, I've never done anything like this before.
None of us have. I think you'd be great.
There's positive murmuring from the jurors. It's settled. Tracy looks at Nick. Thank you for considering me, Mr.
Easter. Nick Easter.
They shake hands. And I'm sorry you're missing your big video game for this.
Oh, it's no problem.
He addresses the whole room.
Look, to be honest, I feel like a real jackass about that. You know, sometimes when you got that much money dangling in front of you, you go out of your mind for a little bit.
One juror gives him some side eye. You're not the only one with other commitments, you know.
I know. You're so right. It was so selfish of me, and I could tell I royally pissed off the judge. In fact, I was hoping maybe you guys could help me make it up to him. Make it up to him how?
Nick leans in and speaks quietly.
So you know the security guard out front by the metal detectors? She told me that today is the judge's 67th birthday. So I get to talking to her about it, and she says he's a pretty big birthday guy. Brings his own cake to the office kind of guy. The thing is, we're technically not allowed to say happy birthday to him. You know, all these arcane court rules and such. But there is a kind of thinly veiled code we can use to put some pep in his step. What do you say?
The camera pans around the room at the jurors nodding and shrugging in agreement. Nick grins. Michael Clayton strides into the Fitch Initiative Command Center. Here we go, boys and girls. Hope you got a good night's rest last night because I don't expect any of you to even blink for the next 14 days. He stops at the monitors in the front, currently displaying info about all 12 jurors. So, first test of our little system. He presses a button on a remote and Roy Kempson's photo blows up larger. Roy Kempson, jury foreman. Let's get some wagers going. Who wants to bet against me? A few hands start to raise. Michael looks around the room, smiling, in control. Cut to the courtroom, which is slowly filling with observers. Atticus Finch arrives, played, of course, by Elliot Page, striding down the aisle and taking a seat at the prosecution table next to Ernest Kellum, the father of one of the victims. A moment later, Jack Molina follows, played by Alden Ehrenreich. He's Milton and Hack's defense attorney, representing Vicksburg Firearms. He places his briefcase strategically so the integrated camera has a good look at the jury. In the command center, someone shouts out, "We have visual!" All eyes turn to the monitor as the jury slowly files in. Cut back to the courtroom as the jury takes their seats. Nick has a small smile on his face. Finally, the judge enters and all rise. He takes a seat, calls court into session, and turns to the jury. Jury, have you elected one of you to serve as your foreperson? Michael looks at the monitors, grinning confidently. Then Tracy stands up. Michael's smile fades. Yes, we have, Your Honor. I will be representing the jury. Murmurs in the command center. Someone mumbles, did anyone have Tracy Kinghorn? Seems like nobody did. It's okay, it's fine. It's only the foreperson. We're just getting started. Cut back to the courtroom. Tracy is still standing. And may I just say, Your Honor, 6'7". She smiles warmly at the judge and sits back down. The juror next to her also says,
6'7".
Then the juror next to him, 6'7". They go down the line like this. Jack and Atticus both look around, confused. The judge cocks his head, not quite getting it. Everyone in the courtroom seems thrown by the jury's quiet confidence as they take their turns. The Fitch Command Center is in chaos. What are they doing? Does anyone know what this is? Everyone's shaking their heads, watching with mouths open. The line gets around to Nick Easter, who smiles and says,
6-7, Your Honor.
"What are they talking about? I need answers, people." The jury finishes their bizarre ritual. The judge has a shocked, bemused smile on his face. "Well, thank you for that, jury. We will now proceed." Michael is watching all of this, aghast. He storms away from the monitors and takes out his phone. He cranks up the volume and opens the last message from the unknown sender. Time to party like it's 19. Now he presses play on the TikTok video. It's a compilation of kids doing the 6-7 meme, shouting it out to confused adults, breaking down in hysterical laughter. All the color drains from Michael's face. Claire walks up behind him and puts her hand on his shoulder. Michael? Michael, what is it? What's going on? Michael stares into the distance, eyes unfocused. I think we've got a runaway jury. End of part 1.
This episode is brought to you by Spooky Aura and their new RPG zine, White City. Spooky Aura's White City is about occult investigators patrolling the 1893 Chicago World's Fair for supernatural threats. This game is designed for busy adults that don't have the time for a long campaign. It's great for pick-up and play groups and bars that host one-session RPG games. A table can build characters, grab a mission card, and start a game in minutes. Fast character creation, a simple 2d6 resolution mechanic, and a driving question gives players a specific problem to investigate and solve in about 3 hours. This RPG zine has 10 supernatural adventures that could have happened. Meet T.S. Eliot, Annie Oakley, and Scott Joplin at the World's Fair. Look for the Pusher, the Cool Woman, and try to capture the Hat Man before the sun rises. White City is a dynamic, engaging role-playing game designed for busy people. Check it out and play when you can. You can find it and a bunch of other RPG zines at retrovit-games-companies.itch.io. Thanks, everybody, for checking them out, and we'll be right back to the show. All right, cross-examination time.
What do you got, counselor?
Okay, first of all, the 6-7 meme thing is deranged.
Yeah.
But the judge's reaction seems to imply that it is, in fact, his 67th birthday.
Yes, because she says she found something out about the judge.
Oh, perfect. And so it was their ability to do very subtly a weird sort of a thing that the judge would think as a favor, but in fact was a way for
them to troll.
To troll and signal that he does, in fact, control the jury. But Nick has made a huge tactical error.
Okay.
He has revealed that he's a kid.
True. He's revealed that he's a shit poster.
This is like that moment in Catch Me If You Can where Carl Hanratty, Tom Hanks' character, is trying to figure out what Barry Allen means, which is an alias that Frank Abagnale gives him during one of his cons. And a waiter looks over his shoulder and is like, "Oh, Barry Allen, you a collector?" "Yeah, use the Flash." And that's when Hanratty realizes he's dealing with a kid.
Yeah.
Right? Like the younger guy. I wonder if, it doesn't seem like this is something that's coming up in the script, but I kind of expect there'd be like a moment like that where like it takes them a minute and someone's like 6-7. Oh, fuck. We're dealing with somebody under 30, right? And then that would kind of be a way they could start suspecting Nick.
They don't know, however, that the person doing the ransom is someone on the jury,
right? You would never think that right away, right? But anyway, it's fun idea.
So because the idea was, in the original Runaway Jury movie, and I think in the book, the first kind of indication that this threat is serious is he makes everyone stand up and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Nick, that's Nick. He sends them a message that's like, "I hope you're feeling patriotic." And then at the beginning of court, and I didn't want to just repeat that beat. And so I was like, well, what's different about my Nick Easter? And I think what's interesting about this Nick Easter versus Michael Clayton, they're both hustlers in their way. They're both clever hustlers. Michael Clayton has legitimized himself to the point where he's making $2.3 million. Nick is a young troll. He's doing all the same shit that Michael Clayton is doing with his millions of budget, with 7 friends and some smartphones. And just like hacking into shit and being fucking internet trolls. And so like he would he's a shit poster. He sees the opportunity. It's his 67th birthday. You know what we gotta do.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. Okay. Dalton, halfway through, as we go anyway from here, I am loving this so far.
Hell yeah.
This is really fun. It is really fulfilling the promise of the courtroom-averse in a way that I think we have kind of had our hands tied for most of phase one, but we couldn't do it this big. I'm so pleasantly surprised by the runaway jury thing. And I'm also really glad you without, like, I didn't know, right? You could have picked something I was not familiar with, and then I would not be having nearly as much fun. I mean, that would also be a good test of whether it works without knowing runaway jury.
So I will say the reason that line is there at the end was on the off chance that you had no idea what I was doing.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I sincerely, when we were picking out things for phase two, I did think about putting runaway jury on the list.
Well, I mean, everyone was expecting from this episode, when they opened their podcatcher this morning, Michael Clayton.
Yes.
What they weren't expecting, I always want to throw something.
You want something you're not expecting.
Here's a little curveball. It's Michael Clayton meets John Grisham. And yeah.
Well, fuck. This is delightful. So I'm just like, I don't want to throw any new predictions or anything, as I feel like I'm already stepping on it. I know we got a long night of recording ahead of us. We still got to do part two. So I'm going to jump right ahead to thanking our patrons.
Yes. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's thank the patrons for supporting the courtroom-averse.
We want to give a big thanks to our partners. These are the patrons who support us at $15 a month, and we really appreciate it. They get themselves a shout out on every episode of the show that we record while they're at that tier. Thank you to Brent Dreyer, Brian Egan, Denim Mudslide, Diana, Jonathan Morgantini, Caleb McFarlane, Michael Mancilis, Mike Lee Whiplash, Sunmat, and Speep. Thank you so much for your support. And here's a big thanks to our senior partners, and a big thanks to our senior partners who contribute $25 a month to our Patreon. Thank you so much. You get not only the shout out, but you get to pick one of the movies that we talk about on the Studio Mandate section of the bonus pod. Thank you to Alyssa the Pazuzu Apologist, Bill French, Beerus, Brandon Bullock, Dracatella, Jasper Stark, Joe Valiant, Cadle, Moose, Rich Mays, The Wayfinder, and Weiss Belladonna. We really appreciate your support.
So we're going to reconvene after lunch. Why don't we grab some McDonald's or something? Because we got a long part two ahead of us. Because I still have to weave all this Arthur stuff together with our runaway jury stuff.
I do love that. And no, we talked about we're doing lawyer stuff. We're not necessarily doing like detective stories. We talked about how we don't want to do Columbo or Agatha Christie because those bases are covered. But I am looking forward to sort of finding out how these two cases could potentially become the same case. Because that feels like the tradition of the genre has to do it that way. And anyway, I'm tickled by it. All right. Well, we'll see you
next week with the thrilling conclusion of Michael Clayton.
And until then,
this court is adjourned. Gavel bang.
The aperture closes, the wormhole shrinks, and our window into this universe disappears before we get our resolution. But perhaps next year, it may open again, revealing a glimpse into yet another world. Only time will tell.
And hey, happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year. And we will see you next year or on the bonus pod next week. Bye.
Bye.